Hello and a very good evening, everyone. Welcome to another installment of ATC's Legal Education series. As you can see from the session today, we are going to talk about what do employers look for when hiring lawyers. My name is Cash and I will be your host for today. Before we start, I would like to speak about this topic for a while. Okay, as you can see from the title, and as I mentioned just now, we are not going to talk about a subject matter of law per se. Rather, we'll be zooming into this very issue, or I would say aspect that may be disturbing us, or we might be worried about it, in the present scenario or the prevalent time currently, which is employability and job security. Specifically, we're going to talk about the employability of law graduates. It is, of course, a common fact that legal education or qualification can open many doors for us in terms of career choices. But going places and landing the right job or your dream job, or as they say, a fulfilling career, is another ball game altogether. Most often than not, when we are studying the law or when we are reading the law, we don't think about these things. What do employers truly need, or what are they looking for when they're hiring someone with a law qualification? Is your LLB enough for you to make a career in law? What are the skills, perhaps, besides legal skills that you might want to look at, right, to be an effective lawyer? And of course, in this current situation, will the dynamics of law career change? So without further ado, let me introduce you to the guest speaker today. Mr. Eddie became a practicing lawyer in 2003 before joining an IT company as a legal counsel. In year 2008, Mr. Eddie founded eLawyer.com.my, a first of its kind website that aims to empower lawyers by connecting them to suitable jobs. Through his innovative outlook, Mr. Eddie has successfully transformed the legal career market and positioned eLawyer.com as the go-to recruitment expert. Today, eLawyer stands as a market leader and regional gateway to Malaysian legal talents. For his tremendous efforts and achievements, in year 2015, Mr. Eddie was selected by the Asian Law Portal as one of the 30 people to watch for in business of law in Asia. Whilst in 2019, the ELS Recruitment Group, managed by Mr. Eddie, won the gold prize for the best executive search firm of HR vendors. With more than a decade experience in legal recruitment, eLawyer has over 10,000 registered lawyer members, that is the job seekers. And it has served more than 700 law firms and large corporations. Mr. Eddie has personally viewed more than 1,000 CVs and have interviewed and provided legal career advice to many aspiring lawyers. ATC is immensely proud to have Mr. Eddie as one of our industrial advisor. And today, we are indeed very lucky to have him up close and personal to inspire us with his experience. Now, on that note, I shall not keep you waiting. Please join me to welcome Mr. Eddie Law, perhaps with the virtual claps.
Thank you so much, Cash, for inviting me to come to this webinar. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time. The fact that you are here, it shows that you really want to know what happened in the market and how could you be hired as a talent by company. Maybe before I share my slide, I just give you a quick introduction about the current market. I think this is something everybody are very concerned. I think the market has changed quite a lot from the previous, before pandemics. So before pandemics, for legal market is already slowing down, but with the hit of COVID, it actually worsened the situation. That was like last year. But this year, I could see that the market is picking up at the uptrend. So this is something positive. Just want to tell the truth, because many people outside would feel very gloomy, especially the fresh raw grad, all this. I understand that people are worried whether I could secure a job or not at this very challenging time. So the first good news is the market is at the uptrend now, it's recovering. Second good news is there are still many people hiring fresh grad, hiring talent. So there are still many jobs in the market. The fact that we are still around, it shows that people still need us to recommend talent to them. So there are still jobs, and there are still jobs that people could not find the talent. So now the question is, how can you be the talent that people want to find, that people want to pay us to find you? And I hope today's sharing could help you to create some awareness on this. So today we are going to talk about three things. One is, like I say, I'm going to give you a current landscape of the legal career, legal market. And second thing is the core of the talk, which is talking about what are the 5C that employers are always looking for when they are looking for lawyers. And the last one would be what sort of different LLB that you need to have. I'm sure ATC will provide you with LLB that from recognized and prestigious university. But today I'm going to add on to it, apart from getting your LLB, your degree from ATC, what other ALB that you need to have? Okay, so just give some data to give you some insight into the market. Every year, there are about 1,006 to 2,003 new law graduates in Malaysia. And I would say 50% are local, 50% are from overseas universities. And there are almost about 20,000 private practitioners. When we say private practitioner, meaning lawyers who work in law firms, who practice law in law firms. So the amount is quite huge. And at least there are 2,000 in-house lawyers. It could be more. So it's just my very conservative calculation. About 70% of lawyers are based in Klang Valley itself. So you could imagine there's so many lawyers in KL and Selangor alone. It's a highly competitive environment here. And the most popular career option for law grads is either to work as a private practitioner in law firm or to work as an in-house lawyer. So in 90s, people who are Gen X, they will hear about this. In 90s, there is a saying that if a girl will want to find a husband or a boyfriend, they are looking for 5C in a future husband. And what is this 5C? So the first C is, wow, okay, if I want to find someone to marry, someone must have a clubhouse membership. That's the first C, clubhouse membership. That shows that the person is very rich. And the person must have condominium, meaning house. The person must have a house, especially in Singapore. Actually, this saying is from Singapore. In Singapore, if you can own a condominium, you are like, wow, so rich. Because most of the Singaporeans stay in a government apartment. Another C is a successful career. Someone has a successful career. And the fourth C is cash. If I want to marry a boy, the boy must have cash. The 5C, the last one is car. In Singapore, a lot of people don't own car, very expensive. So this is how a woman will find a husband. But just to disclaim, I totally not agree with this criteria. So it's not from me. It's just saying that people are getting more materialistic nowadays. On this note, what are the 5C that every employer is looking for? So the first C is competency. Okay, I think quite simple, right? Competency, meaning you need to have the right skill to do the job. You need to have the right technical knowledge to do the job. So let me go a little bit deeper. What kind of competency that an employer expected in a lawyer? So as we learn in law school, when you are given a case, you will need to apply certain methodology to solve the problem, to give your answer, which is very relevant in real life. When you become a lawyer, I was a lawyer, so I understand. So when you become a lawyer, when your client come to you, they'll present you with a facts. So you need to have the ability to understand the facts. So that requires a comprehending skill. You need to be able to comprehend the facts, the context. After that, you need to identify the issue from the facts itself. You need to know, what is the issue? Is the issue a breach of contract? Is it an issue about a tortious issue? Is there an issue about like negligence? So you need to identify the issue and what skill that you require to identify the issue. You need to have two things. One is your analytical skill, so that you can connect the dot, you can analyze it. And second, it's your knowledge of law. You need to know contract law, the basic principle in contract law. Then only you could identify which issue it is or which element is lacking in the contract. Yeah, let's say to form a contract, you need consideration, you need offer, acceptance, blah, blah, blah. So if you do not have this general knowledge of law or foundation knowledge of law, you're not able to identify the issue. And after that, you need to also know what sort of law are relevant to apply to this case. And that will require research skill and good foundation in law. Without good research skill, you're not able to pinpoint which law and also not able to pinpoint or cite which cases that would be in your favor, the precedent of cases, because we are in common law system. So common law system, the judge not only look at the Act of Parliament, the law, but also look at cases to support your case. So research skill is very important. And the last one is, when you got all these things, the last step is to provide advice and solutions. And that require problem solving skill. You need to tell your client what sort of solution you're going to give. You cannot just tell them the law say this, then you stop. That doesn't bring value to your client. Your client says, so what? I know the law say cannot, but how can you solve my problem? Is there a practical way that I can do it? I can change the way I do business so that I will not run into problem with the law, but at the same time, I could achieve my business goal. I could achieve my purpose. So that is the basic competency that employers are looking for in a lawyer. Okay, so now we know that you need all this skill, but how can you build this skill? So how to build competency? Personally, to me, except knowledge of law, competency does not come from knowledge. It comes from experience. Let me give you a scenario. Let's say today you have a manual of how to drive a car. Then first step is to switch on the engine. Second step is to get the right, this and that. Step 1, step 2, step 3. So if you can memorize all the steps, are you able to drive a car? I'll say no. You have to practice it because experience is very important. Same thing. Today, if I give you a recipe, you put this ingredient, put that, and you can make a cake. But can you claim that I know how to make a cake, a nice cake, a delicious cake? You can't. You have to practice it with the knowledge that you use, that you have. So to me, knowledge doesn't give people real competency, only half of it, which is the knowledge part. But a real competency only built when you do it, when you practice your law. So how to gain experience? Experience is accumulation of hands-on work. You have to really do it. Then only you can build your experience. So in my entire career of recruiting lawyer for my client, everyone will emphasize on experience. They never say, Eddie, I need someone score A in contract law. No need experience. No such thing. Everyone looking for experience. But of course, you will say, hey, I'm fresh grad. How could I have such experience? Yes, for fresh grad, they may not expect this thing from you, meaning the experience of practicing law, but they will expect something else from you, which I'll cover it in later. So that's why we call it practicing law. We are not calling it like sharing knowledge of law. So you need to practice it. The more you practice, the more you become expert in law. And this is something very unique about practicing law. Practicing law is the more senior, the more you practice, the more valuable you are. For a certain job, when you are so-called too senior or too old, people will not want you because you'll be slow, you will be not competitive. But for practicing law, people will pay top dollar if you have more experience than a junior. So practicing law, that's the beauty of it. The older you are, the more years you practice, you can command more income. And how to build this sort of competency when you are still a student. You can find the opportunity to practice law that you learn through internship. So I really encourage students to apply for internship, be it in law firm. I know now it's very challenging because when law firms are not able to operate in full force, all this, not only law firm, a lot of employers are quite skeptical in taking interns because of many reasons. So if you can, apply to law firm who can take internship, even we call it virtual internship. Like for our company, we have hired 3 interns, 4 interns now. We never met them face to face. It's all virtual. So they just work from home. So go and do internship and go and volunteer yourself for legal aid if there's an opportunity, and find the opportunity to build your other skill. For example, comprehensive skill, analytical skill, even communication skill, all this. You could gain it not by reading book, but you only gain it when you really start doing something. So you can join your school activities, you can join charitable organization to help them to plan, to lead, to drive a project. You can join church activity, society, blah, blah, blah. So there are many opportunities that you could use to build your competency from now itself. So second C is communication skill. If you had very good knowledge of law, but you don't have the communication skill, that also didn't make the cut. Why do I say that? Why communication skill is utmost importance in legal industry? Have you thought about that? Because the product of legal service, which is legal solution, it's purely delivered in verbal and also in writing. Legal industry is not like other industry where, for example, if you buy a cake, the product itself is not verbal, also not writing. It's something tangible. But legal industry is a consultancy business. It's a consultancy industry. So the product itself is actually a piece of paper, or it's actually your advice, it's your knowledge. So our product is delivered by verbal and writing. So you could imagine how important is your communication skill required when you need to deliver your products. So how to improve your communication skill? So let's talk about verbally. For me, I will personally advise that you could listen to like TED Talk, to radio. Personally, I listen to BFM because it gives me a lot of corporate and commercial news. For TED Talk, why I encourage is because the speaker on TED Talk, they would deliver message in a very concise manner, and also the content that they deliver very inspiring. So instead of listen to any other thing, I really enjoy listening to TED Talk, BFM radio. And you could also practice your public speaking skill. 3 years ago, I started up a Toastmaster club called eLawyer Toastmaster Club. It's exclusively for lawyer and law student. In Toastmaster Club, you have opportunity to do public speaking. You also have opportunity to be thrown a question, then you think on your feet and speak for 2 minutes. So that is very relevant because when we go to court, the judge will just throw you a questions. You have to think on your feet and respond. So there's no time for you to prepare. So Toastmaster Clubs helps us to improve our communication skill, our public speaking skill. So in terms of writing, I know many law students are very busy in reading cases, reading law books. That is perfectly fine. However, I would encourage if you could also spare time to read variety of books, especially when you are not from English education background. Because many times when we need to write something, not only we need to have legal logic to present ourselves, to write our opinions, but we also will need different kind of vocabulary to help us to enrich our writing. So I will encourage you to read variety of books, not only law books, so that it will improve your writing skill. When you read, then you can see how they write it and how they write it in a very simple manner. I myself was an example. I don't have the habits to read other books than law books in English because I came from Chinese educated background. So if I read other books, I'll read in Chinese, but not in English. So all the vocab that I know are all very legal and very legalistic vocabs. And when I come out to work, I can't be just writing this kind of language. So I find that taking opportunity to read other books is very important. And it really helped me a lot. Okay, so the third C is career direction. So let's say you have the right competency and you have very good communication skill, you may still not be able to get the job. Because what employer also want are someone who has the right career direction with the job. For example, what do I mean that? Let's say if your career direction is to become a private practitioner, but you go for an interview with the in-house job, then the person will ask you, well, you know, if you got through your CRB, what you want to be, then you tell the interviewer, oh, I want to be a practicing lawyer in law firm. Then I'll tell you, unlikely that people will hire you because they are not law firm. So they will ask you, why are you attending this interview? We are not law firm. Why not you go and having interview with law firm? So alignment of career direction is very important. And even in law firm, if you go to a law firm, boutique law firm who just practice litigation, but your career direction is to become a successful corporate lawyer, they will not hire you also because you came to the wrong place. So you need to know what is your career direction. That's very important. Then you will need to know where to identify such a place that align with your career direction. So this will be some of the questions that employer may ask during interview. Why having the right career direction is so important? First, most employer prefer employee to have the intention of having a long-term career with them. Am I right? Most of the employer will want you to come in, especially when you're fresh to come in, and they spend time to train you, spend time to guide you, and they don't want you to just leave the job after 1 year or 2 years because of mismatch of career direction. So that's important of when we as a recruiter or hiring manager, when we want to hire someone, we want to make sure this thing is aligned. And second reason is when a personal career direction is aligned with the role, with the job, it actually motivates the person to do the job and the person will have passion in doing the job. So if I hire someone who do not align, the career direction is not aligned with this role, I'll tell you this person will not be a self-starter, this person would not go extra mile, this person would not like the job. But if I hire someone whose career direction is aligned with this role, I don't have to push the person, but that person will go extra mile because the career is aligned with his personal goal. So now we come to the fourth things. Let's say you have the right competency, you're very smart, you got the relevant skill, you can do the job, and you have the good communication skill, or you are very articulate, you can speak very well, and you also have the right career direction. This is what you really want to do. Then now we need to ask whether this work culture is a right fit for you, because we are going to work every day. We are going to face the same people every day. Even longer than the time that we spend at home. So the environment and the culture is very important. Otherwise, you will drag your feet to go to work, and that is not very healthy. So finding the right fit of culture in work is very important. Work culture is associated with work environment. So work culture meaning whether this job is a very fast-paced environment, this company is a fast-paced company, is it a slow pace? Is it a very long hour? The boss always expect you to work very long hour, or the boss will say, okay, you just come in 9 and you can leave 6 o'clock, stable hour? Or is it a culture that the boss always give you last minute work, or they give you a very reasonable deadline? Or is it a place that encourage open communication? Or it's very dictatorship. The boss say 1, you cannot say 2. So all these are culture fits. When we help our client to recruit the right talent, we'll make sure this thing also align. Because when I talk to my client to understand the role, to understand the job, I will ask them what sort of culture your firm have. Do you expect the lawyer to always stay back late, to work over weekend, all this? So if let's say, my client say, yes, our job is always last minute, you have to prepare for last minute work, all this. And if candidate come to me, I will also talk to candidate, what sort of environment you prefer? What sort of culture you prefer? Then the candidate say, oh, I left my previous job because boss always call me back to do work at last minute. So that's why I left my job. Then I would not recommend this person to this job because culturally it's not fit. So culture fit is very important, especially when a lawyer who want to apply to work in MNC as an in-house lawyer, because MNC culture and local company culture are very different. MNC means a multi-national company. So MNC culture is very different from local culture. So the employer will understand whether you have the right culture fit before they hire you. So culture is very important for them. Now the last C. The last C is not the least, but to me is the utmost important. That's why I leave it to the last to talk about. The last C is character, which also means work attitude. So in certain situations, actually most of the employer will rather hire attitude than ability. So if someone have very good ability, but no good attitude, I can tell you it's a no hire. So attitude itself is so important because ability can be taught, can be trained, but attitude you can't teach. And people have no time to teach you on your character, on your attitude, because it takes long time for someone to form the value system, inner value system, and form the character, form the attitude. So attitude is the utmost important. If you have all the 4C right, but you don't demonstrate good attitude, I'll tell you, you won't get hired also. Definitely won't get hired. Good working attitude is like the foundation of a building. Without good attitude, everything fall. So that's very serious. I have candidates who are so good in so many aspects, but when for interview, fail because the interviewer just felt that the person do not have the right working attitude. So this is extremely important. I know it's only when you come out to work you understand this, but I want to create the awareness today. The right attitude is very important. Even as a student, it's also important. If you are not hardworking, you don't have the good attitude like hardworking, responsible, I'm sure you will not be very successful in your self-study. The reason that you will be scoring good result without good attitude, it could be you're using a shortcut way. I don't know, another way. But attitude is almost important. So your attitude, not your aptitude, will determine your altitude. So this is very important. It's one of the most important attitude that I want to share today, which I see that not many young people have it naturally. So that is actually is humble. And why being humble is so important? Because when someone is humble, then he would know that he doesn't know a lot of things. And when he know that he doesn't know a lot of things, he will start learning. And when he start learning, he will change. When he start changing, then he will be successful. So you do it another way around. If I'm not humble, I think that I know a lot of things. Boss, you don't tell me this, common sense. Please, I know, you know, you know a lot of things. So when you think that you're very good, you think that you know a lot of things, and you stop learning. When you stop learning, you stop growing. When you stop growing, how can you be successful? So being humble is very important because too much of ego will kill your talent. In humble state, we learn better. I had done my 5C, and now we came to conclusion about what sort of different LLB that you need in order to be an outstanding lawyer. So don't get me wrong, your degree with ATC is still very fundamental and it's a must. But on top of that, what sort of LLB you need to get in order to be an outstanding lawyer up to others peers. So what's the new LLB that I advocate? First, language. Like I say, legal industry is a consultancy industry where products are delivered verbally or in writing. So your language is utmost important. Otherwise, you will not be able to effectively deliver your products, deliver your services. So in Malaysia, the top language for practicing is English. A lot of people may not know, say, hey, Malaysia, is it everything in Malay when we come out to practice? No, it's actually another way around. Everything in English, you only use Malay in two situations. First, when you speak in court, you deal with court. Second, is when you deal with governments, maybe the agreements is in Malay, or when you deal with them, you speak Malay. But most of the time, they will also be able to speak English with you. So I would say language is the first L. First L stands for language. Second L stands for legal logic, foundation of law. I hear a lot of feedback from my client or from senior lawyer that when a fresh grad went for interview, they will assess them. They will assess them either through verbally ask them some questions on certain point of law, very basic foundation of law, or they will assess them by giving them exam, a test. Yeah. So a lot of time they told me that they don't shortlist certain candidates because of the weak foundation of law. Some very simple legal knowledge, legal foundation logic is lacking. So this is the second L you need to have. It doesn't mean that you have a degree, then people will hire you. It's not like that. You need to really understand how to apply the law. So that's the law. And B, what's the B? B is business acumen, because when you practice law either in law firm or as an in-house lawyer, you are providing legal support to the business, to the commercial world. So your business acumen must be good. Otherwise, you will not be very relevant to them. Because if you only give them pure follow book kind of legal answer, that is not helping them to solve their problems. You need to be very commercial savvy so that you know how to apply the law to the business. So that will help them to solve their problem or to achieve their goal. So a new LLB to me stands for language, law and business. Okay, I think that's end my speak. Just allow me quickly, like 5 minutes, go through the following slide. I just want to share with you something about our company and about the activity that may help law students. So we had this eLawyer Toastmaster Club, like I say. Do join us and see whether you like to be a member of our clubs. So this platform is very good to help people to improve their communication skill and public speaking skill. So this is our virtual meeting. So now we have our virtual meeting. Before that, we use Lexines's office to conduct our physical meeting. But now we all change it to online. So this is our physical meeting before pandemic. Sometimes we also have joint meeting. We join with other professionals so that people can learn not only from lawyer, from engineer, from architect, from doctor or dentist, and also it's a platform to network with each other. In Toastmaster, there are also many training or speech contests. And if you are very good, you can even represent Malaysia to go to US for the world contest. So Toastmaster is an international movement to help people to improve their public speaking skill. And this is our website. So you could get many valuable information. For example, we have this legal career market report you can download, and also with salary guide. And a lot of people, let's say first time you heard about eLawyer, what's eLawyer stand for? So E stands for employment for lawyers. So we want to also empowering lawyer through jobs, coaching, and technology. So you could register as a member of eLawyer as a job seeker member. Membership is free. And these are the benefits you can get. You can create a professional looking resume with using our online tools. And the best thing about our online tools is that we even have templates for different type of area of practice. If you do not have idea how to write your experience, so we even have a templates there for you to refer how to write experience like a conveyancing lawyer, litigation lawyer, corporate lawyer. On another note, because I am very passionate about helping young lawyers, mentoring lawyers, so I also provide career coaching and mentoring. So during career coaching and mentoring, these are certain things that we could do during the mentoring session or coaching session, like understanding the area of practice that fit your personality. Because a lot of young lawyers come to me, oh, Eddie, I don't know what area of practice suit me. So I can talk to them, then we will do some personality tests. Then we have coaching sessions. What are the career options? Because having a law degree, there are many career options. Not necessarily you have to work as a lawyer in law firm. Not necessarily you only have to work as an in-house lawyer. There are many, many other options. So make sure those options are fixed to your value system, to your lifestyle, to your personality. Mock interview during pandemic, job opportunity are shrinking. So it's very competitive to get a job or even a pupillage opportunity in reputable firm. And I can tell you, a large firm or a reputable firm in Malaysia could easily receive 200 to 300 CV just for one position. So you can imagine how competitive. So if you want to be outstanding in your interview, then more interview practice will help you. CV writing, and just talk about anything about legal career. The last one is we welcome internship. If you want to have variety experience of your internship, one of the choices you could come to us. You could be our intern. You would experience something or learn something that you could not learn in law firms. That's all my sharing. I hope my sharing will help you. Back to Cash.